Creamer Media's Mining Weekly Online is interviewing Charles Mostert, the chairperson of SunRanch.Solar. And also in the studio with us is Willem Mostert, the CEO of a company that is harnessing South Africa's superior sunshine to reduce electricity bills. Charles, can you tell us what can you offer South Africa in the terms of clean energy, cheaper energy and more reliable energy?
South Africa is rapidly catching up on solar technology. We have installed 67 installations for around about 3 megawatts of power. So we've got a very good database of our installations and their performance. And the business case for solar is a very simple one. If we look at Eskom's production price increases since 2007, we've seen a substantial increase from around about 17 cents per kilowatt hour to currently R1.06 per kilowatt hour. Now that's production price increases. Retail clients obviously would pay a much higher price than the R1.06. From our database, we can see that our plants are running at an average of around about 25 cents per kilowatt hour. So the message to our clients out there is that we are able to reduce daytime electricity costs, because obviously solar unfortunately does not produce at nighttime unless one has got a backup system. We are able to reduce the costs of our clients' power costs by 50 to 60%. That's daytime. That is a substantial increase. Given the experience that we've had, we put our money where our mouth is. So on this reduction, we do give a performance guarantee. We underwrite the performance of our plants, and if we do not achieve the contractual specifications and performance of the plants, then we upgrade the plant at our own costs to achieve that.
Now, you've been in the mining industry for more than 30 years. What can you offer mining, particularly off-grid companies that are using diesel generator sets?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Having been in mining for so long and having worked in all parts of the world, from Fiji, Papua New Guinea, Australia, and particularly in South Africa and Africa being Somali, Burkina Faso, DRC, we understand firstly the language game of mining. That's very important that one is au fait with the challenges, the language and the technology of mining. Now, as we know, not so much prevalent in South Africa, but cross-border mines are very reliant on diesel generation, because grid power, cross-border is virtually non-existent. And even in countries that's got a very good developed grid system like Zambia, if they have a once in 100-year drought like they had experienced recently, then hydropower becomes a problem. So I mentioned before the numbers of 25 cents for solar per kilowatt hour versus in South Africa an average of R1.30 for grid power. If we had to add to that diesel power, a 100 kilowatt diesel generator would run at R4.36 per kilowatt, and that is diesel only. So those are the magic numbers: 25 cents, R1.30 and R4.36. Now that's South Africa. I was involved in diamond mining in Zimbabwe, where we had to import diesel. Now, the logistic costs of diesel, the quality of diesel that you get on the mines, it's an absolute inferior quality, and the mining companies obviously pay a huge penalty on the maintenance of their diesel generators if you do get dirty diesel. So what we can offer for mining companies that are very dependent on diesel generator sets is an integration between solar and diesel, where the ratio, rule of thumb, is around about 30% diesel power and solar making up the balance. Bottom line, that translates into that solar becomes a fuel saver for diesel. Instead of operating your gensets at full power, you would run them at about between 30 and 40%, with solar supplying the balance.
So Willem, how do you assist people who want solar to get this going in their companies?
I'm just going to talk quickly about the process that we follow when we get a new project, for instance, a mining company that approaches us. The most important step that we need to have a look at before you start with your solar or your genset integration or your rates is how efficient is the company currently running. And that's a step that a lot of companies don't take into consideration, and the importance of efficiency. I think we're so used to the old 10 years ago electricity rates that we don't understand power. And I'm going to give you an example, for instance. We had a company that we also had a look at, and we did an infrared scanning. Now, what your infrared scanning does in your distribution boxes, it identifies any hotspots inside the electrical box. Now, if you identify a hotspot, that causes heat. Heat causes electricity loss. So your quickest payback in any system is actually, first of all, going efficient. After our efficiency, then we currently also need to understand what electricity consumption the mine is currently required. Is it a 24-hour operation? Is it a daytime operation? And that's how you start to design a solar system. One important thing that we also realize is at the end of the day is we give our clients options. We tell them exactly the cash flow model of a solar system in terms of if it's own finance, bank finance, and also what's very important is a BOT system, where we will come in, we will finance the system, install the system, and also provide the client with more affordable, clean energy. And on the word clean energy, one thing that we also realize from our clients as well is solar is not just more affordable than currently your grid power or your generator power. It's also a cleaner energy. And I think with those three options that we provide a client, we tell them exactly the cash flow models on the saving of electricity cost. But most importantly, when you do the BOT system, your BOT system, let the mine have capital available to invest into the operation, and we will take care of the electricity supply for our clients.
So that build, operate and transfer system often requires an underpin of funding. Now, where and who are your partners that you bring in so that you can actually take over the operation of a solar plant at a mine?
So we entered into a relationship 2 years ago with Evolution Africa, a Cape Town-based financing company as well. So to give you background just on Evolution themselves, they have invested 5.6 billion into renewable energy projects in the last 3 years. We have different scales in terms of our partnerships and how we enter into in terms of the project itself. Anything between 10 to 20 megawatt, we do it internally with Evolution itself. With our bigger clients, for instance, when you go 50 megawatts plus to 100 megawatts, we're bringing our international partners that has a track record of over 17 gigawatt installed solar power, that we're able to finance the system, install the system, and maintain the system. And what's important in the lease model that we built in, it is based on the performance of the system. If the system doesn't perform according to the specs, it affects the lease of the payment on a monthly basis as well. So we try to de-risk it in total for the client as well, so that the client doesn't worry about the electricity supply or when the panel goes off or to maintain it. He just looks after the performance. He just takes care of cheaper, reliable power that he gets.
So you're telling me that if I get you to put in a system for me and it doesn't work, you are going to bear some of the risk on that?
We bear actually all the risk, Martin. If you look in terms of your lease model, it's based on performance. If my system doesn't perform, you don't pay for the month.
That was Charles Mostert and Willem Mostert of SunRanch.Solar, a solar electricity solutions company which has the mining industry's requirements in its sights.